Pay me, pay me, pay me my silver now. Pay me or go to jail. Pay me my silver now.
Bix Weir, roadtoroota.com. It's your morning horn of Z's. Remember that? Your sip of coffee? So much going on right now. It's crazy in life, in the markets, in our political system, in our global geopolitical system. You name it, it's happening. It's happening. I guess that's what I have to say today. It's happening. All the things that we've prepared for on the road to Ruta should be ready with your assets in your own possession. Plenty of silver, the good cryptos, especially Theta and Theta Fuel, and just watch the chaos. I don't know if they're going to click the mouse and put silver at minus $40 like they did with oil, or they're going to click the mouse and put silver at $10,000 an ounce and destroy the banking cabal. Could be done either way. I don't know which is going to happen. If they click it to minus $40 an ounce, minus $40 an ounce. Remember, they did minus $40 a barrel in oil. They can do it. It's a derivative market that is completely detached from the actual physical commodity that's being traded. Just keep that in mind. That's why you have to have your assets in your own possession. Nobody else can hold your assets, especially now. And we can all see how this framework could fall apart instantly. I mean, how many people have come across the border? 25 million, I'm hearing. I always wondered, how could there ever be a war within the people of the United States of America? Yes, we had the Civil War way back when, but could there be another Civil War? I didn't think it was possible with the American citizens, because before that would happen, you'd have a lot of exposure of all the lies that the left and the right are telling us, the deep state, as I call them. But so that it couldn't happen. Now with 25 million people who weren't here before, and I can see how it can happen. A lot of MS gang members are part of the deep state, pedo gangs and all that. All this is a potential now. I hope it doesn't happen. Calmer people have to take charge. Stronger people, obviously. But someone who's interested in a smooth transition, because I doubt it could be, truthfully. I was talking to Andy Scheckman the other day, Miles Franklin. We had a really good talk. He's going to put it on his channel. I agree with 99% of what Andy says. I don't agree that the BRICS and Shanghai Development Group, all that stuff you hear about, the XRP stuff, the new monetary system coming on, it can never happen. And that comes from my Road to Ruta work, the documents out of the Fed. The U.S. can pull the plug on this game at any moment. The U.S. holds all the cards of the fiat monetary system, and cobbling together a currency 40% backed by gold. Nobody's going to trust anybody when the derivative bubble goes off. That was my discussion with Andy the other day. The end game for all this is not a smooth transition to like a Chinese yuan or a BRICS country currency or an XRP installation taking the place of SWIFT. No, that is not the end game. The end game is the end of everything, and it's done with computers, and it's done with the destruction of the markets. And the derivative bubble, which is $3 quadrillion is my estimate now, will take down everything. So there'll be no agreement on any 40% backed, and then we'll have the US dollar will be part of that, and the yuan and the Brazil currency is not. No, it's all bullshit. You're being fed a lack of understanding of how big this is going to be. The unbacked fiat monetary system, this is the first time in history, in the history of humanity, that the entire world believed in the powers that be and believed that their monetary system was sound. First time in history. And so when that crashes, the ramifications of that, no one will believe in the government. No one will believe in the IMF and the World Bank. No one will believe in the banksters. No one will believe in politicians. It's the end. That's the end game, and that's coming very, very, very fast. I would say I would be extremely surprised if the destruction of the old system hasn't happened by, say, Inauguration Day in the U.S., which is January. So we're down to weeks, months. I don't think years, and you have to have your assets in your own possession. So we'll see where we go. Right now we're at $32 silver. Lots of going on in silver market. Those of us riding it out, it's like, oh my God, it went up $1 today. Oh my God, it went down $1 today. It's a click of a mouse for companies like Virtu Financial, Vinny Viola over there working the derivative markets for the banksters. Now, it should be obvious to everybody who is the big short. How did they become the big short? And I'll show you that in a second right here. First of all, as you can see, we're above the 100 and 200-day moving averages. This is the game that the bankers have played since the 1970s with computers. They'll bring it up, they'll make it short into the highs, and then they'll slam it down under the moving averages, and everybody panics and sells their silver contracts back to the shorters, and it's wash, rinse, repeat. The problem that they're finding out, and every time now it can be seen in the data, like back here when they did it under the moving averages, India loaded up on, I think it was 70 million ounces in a single month. Just recently, this one right here, they loaded up on 46 million ounces in a single month. So the bad guys, the criminals, the shorts in silver, which is the banksters, they know every time they're going to slam it down under moving averages, China and India are going to take up all the physical silver they can get their hands on, unlimited amounts. So if they went under the 100-day moving average, which didn't used to be a big deal, but India loaded up on 46, 47 million ounces just a couple months ago, back in, I think it was August. Yep. And back here in August. So what are they going to do? Next time it'll probably be, if they dump it under the 100-day moving average, it'll probably load up on 100 million ounces. If they dump below the 200-day moving average, which is currently $27.27, I wouldn't be surprised if India loaded up on, say, 200 million ounces in a single month, or 300 million. Is there really a limit in this tiny silver market on how much you can load up on physical silver out of these criminal exchanges that have been suppressing the price for at least since the 70s. I go back to the 1850s, the Opium Wars. And it's interesting that the same bank that was set up to steal all the silver from China back in the 1850s, Hong Kong Shanghai Bank, HSBC, has been the largest deliverer of physical silver on the COMEX the entire year. What was the structure of that deal? What was the deal done by JPM when they got busted, and Bank of America when they leased all that silver, over 1 billion ounces, from JPM? And then what did Bank of America do with it? They had a back-end structured deal. JPM booked a $1 billion gain the same year they lost $920 million from the CFTC fine. That same year, in gold and silver, probably mostly silver. So if they did a lease with a fixed back end, which I believe is what they did, they could book that gain then. So a lot of this is hush hush. Don't talk about it. You're not allowed to know. Need to know basis only. But we do see Bank of America customers report widespread outage and zero balances. Bank of America is in deep shit. Part of it is probably linked to silver shorts, derivatives that aren't exactly being fulfilled by Bank of America because you can't really see it in other places. BofA is not the big deliverer on the COMEX, even though they had 1 month that was pretty big, which was 5 million ounces they delivered. And it's their house account right here, house account, not the customer account. Whereas JP Morgan's the customer account because they're not really allowed to do it on their house account. But you see the big month. Actually, they didn't really have a big month, did they? They took delivery. A lot of these are just countering, it's buy a little, sell a little. So, sorry, that's not Bank of America. That's Wells Fargo. There we go. There you go, Bix. Let's find BofA. They're next to J. There we are. So here's what they did. Like their big month was March was the delivery month of silver. But look what they did. It was 5 million ounces they had to deliver, and then 5 million ounces they took. It's a wash, basically. So it's not B of A that's on the hook, although they absolutely had leased over 1 billion ounces from JP Morgan, and that was shown in the OCC data. But who ended up with it is the company that is making all the deliveries this year, HSBC, customer, probably BlackRock on a structured deal, is my guess is BlackRock. But look at all HSBC by far has been the massive deliverer of silver all year long, continues to be, especially during the delivery month. These numbers are huge when you add it all up. So we know who it is, HSBC. And so we check HSBC and say, what's going on with HSBC? HSBC scraps some internal events, restricts travel to curb costs. Bank scraps a summit in India, cancels some internal offsites. Basically, they're all tightening their belt over at HSBC because they're having to deliver metal after metal every single month. Massive amounts of physical silver, which is draining the COMEX, draining the LBMA. LBMA we don't know about. It's not an exchange. It's an association, criminal association, but still an association. But, this is the one that gets me. Everybody's like, oh, my God. Buffett, who was a massive supporter of Bank of America stock, buying massive amounts back when Bank of America was leasing silver from JP Morgan, and all of a sudden something changed a few quarters back, and Buffett started dumping all his Bank of America stock. This has 100% to do with silver. And I was screaming this from the very beginning. Buffett knows silver. He was the guy who invested $130 million in silver in the late 1990s secretly. You don't think Buffett could structure a deal with Bank of America and JP Morgan and HSBC such that he ends up with that physical silver? And I think he's doing it to take out the banks. I don't think he's doing it for his own personal gain. I think he's doing it for the good guys. So, yeah, what a move by Buffett to disguise a $1 billion plus silver, in essence, purchase through a lease with a fixed back end. So the fixed back end was probably taken over by HSBC, blah, blah, blah. We'll find out, right? And I think we're getting near to the end of that game as Buffett keeps selling and selling and selling. It all makes sense if you know where to look. All right, so yeah, Bank of America in trouble, HSBC in trouble, Buffett getting out of Bank of America. It's all got to do with this silver lease. We're near the end game. Now, let's talk about Metals Focus now, put out a new monthly, weekly, and it was actually positive for silver. It wasn't directly positive for silver, but they were talking about silver mines. And the title of it is, Can Silver Mine Supply Meet Increasing Industrial Demand? And instantly I thought, oh, it's Metals Focus. They're going to say, oh, yeah, it's easy. That they'll just increase the mine supplies and all that. And they actually go through what's really going on with mine supply and the byproduct factor of silver mined as a byproduct is like 50%. And it's like, wait a minute, is it a byproduct? The only reason they see it as a byproduct for copper mining is that silver's so low priced. At $10,000 silver, that it would flip the equation, and so the silver mining, the copper would be the byproduct. It all depends on what the value, the price of silver is as determined on a rigged market. So yeah, the byproduct theory of silver is only because the price is so massively suppressed. Again, when it goes to $10,000 silver, silver will be mined as the normal product and copper will be mined as a byproduct. That's the way it works. But I kudos to Metals Focus for coming out with like something that said something real. And basically it said, don't expect any increase in the amount of silver being mined for the near future. I would say 5 to 10 years if we started now. We haven't started. None of the mines are saying, oh, God, we're going full bore in silver. They've been fooled before by the riggers. So, yeah, it takes years to develop from scratch a silver mine to a producing silver mine. 5 to 10 years. And all the the high grade stuff, the stuff on the surface, alluvial, I think it calls something like that, alluvial silver, has all been mined. Not all, but it's been found. So you got to find new places. There's a lot of places that have silver that are off limits. Coeur d'Alene area, all that. The U.S. pretty much stopped silver mining, knowing that we could use everybody else's silver, like Mexico's silver. We don't have to use our own. And then Mexico, the new government's very anti. Well, they know what's going on. They're gonna be really hard to deal with. If you have mining shares, they're gonna run into massive problems. Open pit mining, probably gonna stop that until the rigging ends. Mexico should be the richest country in the world, except they've been selling their silver for almost nothing. It's embarrassing. So yeah, very interesting. But in normal investing circles, they're starting to talk a little bit about silver, but it's just the superficial stuff. 3 bullish catalysts that could catapult silver to all-time highs in 2024. And those 3 catalysts are: 1, growing industrial demand. They barely scratch the surface on what's going on, especially on solar. I mean, solar's going to jump another 30 to 40% this year compared to last year when it jumped 76%. You wouldn't see that in the silver data because they lie about it. But yeah, of course, I think this year, no matter what the Silver Institute and Metals Focus says, we are going to be, I think it'll be the first year that over 100% of the stuff that comes out of the ground from the mines, maybe 830 to 850 million ounces is the estimate, I think, these days. Over 100% of that will be used in the industrial side of silver. And that leaves, all the other stuff. It's like, okay, what about all the other things that silver is used for? And then after all that, what about the investment silver? Are you not allowed to invest in silver because 100% is going into solar panels and electric cars that are, by the way, electric cars are blowing up now. Apparently, this is really interesting. Where is it? Look at this. Petronas confirms 16 lithium-ion battery fires related to Hurricane Helene storm surge. Apparently, if you get salt water in a lithium battery, it catches on fire. So who knew? I didn't know. But yeah, and with the storm surge in Florida, all these electric cars are catching on fire. It's crazy, I know. So you're gonna have to, at some point, they're gonna have to seal those batteries so that no water, make them completely airtight, if it's even possible. It's a crazy world we're living in. So industrial demand, the Fed and China's impact, and then the gold-silver ratio signals outperformance. Gold-silver ratio today should be 3-to-1. It's going to overshoot that, probably 1-to-1 with gold, maybe even 1-to-10, because silver is so much more scarce than gold and so much more valuable than gold on the industrial side, which means it's very, very, very extremely rare. There's so much less silver than there is gold. There's so much more gold than what they tell you. If you have gold, swap it ASAP. Swap it for physical silver. If you love gold, you'd swap it, and then when the gold-silver ratio gets to something even close to reality, I mean, it's coming out of the ground at 7-to-1, and it's priced at like 85-to-1. This is insane. But again, coming out of the ground is one thing. If we're going to be using up 100% of the silver that's coming out of the ground on the industrial side, what does that leave for the investment side? So that's where I get closer to 3-to-1 or 1-to-1 even. And then as a blow off top, I'd say 1-to-10. And then you get the 1-to-10, and then you swap all your silver back into gold, and you're sitting pretty with what's that, 20 times what you have right now in gold. That's not a bad idea, right? But we won't know the amount of gold there is in the world for a very long time, most likely. But I did hear Cliff High told me that there are like gangs of people from the USGS going around trying to count the real numbers for how much commodities every country has in the ground, because they know we're going to some kind of commodity-based monetary system. So hang on to your hats for this one. Solar power is growing super fast, Elon Musk. In the very long term, solar will be 99% of all the power generation. Interesting thought. Where will we get the silver? Nobody knows. I mean, what's going on in solar right now, they're going to do 600 gigawatts of solar installations this year, up from 442, 443. That's massive, 30% rise. And oh, by the way, it's all TopCon, which uses more silver. I believe it's tough to determine exactly. I get you, but the Silver Institute numbers are way off. It's going to be, I think, it's between 4 million and 4.5 million, maybe even up to 5 million ounces of silver will be used in solar this year, which is shocking. And then electric cars, and that's how I get to all industrial. Just industrial is going to be, I think, over the amount mined, over 800. The true numbers, not the Silver Institute numbers. But all you got to do is look at the percentage of jump in the amount of solar going in, and look at this. Look at all the renewables. Solar by far is kicking ass on all of them. And they are building facilities still. I just saw one was built in Georgia, a $1.2 billion facility to make more solar panels. Don't think this is going away anytime soon. We signed the COP28. We have to, change the world to save the fish in the sea, or whatever they're trying to do with the ESG movement. It's already set in stone, and governments are paying for it. So there's no argument there, in my opinion. Interesting, and this gets back to the fact that I don't think there will be any smooth transition into XRP. I think XRP was a con the entire time. And you know that because the guys who invented XRP in the beginning have sold $30 billion worth of XRP. I'm sorry for anybody who did get involved in XRP, because the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission has appealed the ruling on XRP. That is going to throw another monkey wrench. And remember, they control the courts too, so the ruling will probably be approved before Trump gets into office. This guy, Jorge Tarantino, is not a good dude. He's the guy who pushed along with, what's his name, Gary Gensler, who will be gone, by the way, pushed the takedown of Reggie Middleton. He was on that team also. Veritasium was ready to fix the stock market, the bond market, the commodity markets with, kick the high-frequency traders out and in peer-to-peer transactions. You don't need Goldman Sachs. You don't need Fidelity. You don't need all these in-between entities. You can do peer-to-peer transactions with the Reggie Middleton invention back in 2013, and then the SEC took them down harder than any other crypto on the planet. And Reggie did what they asked. They said, "Oh, as long as you come to us, you'll be fine." He went to them, and then they took him down because he would replace the banksters. They couldn't have that now, could they? Anyway, lots going on with China. Everybody's moving to China and saying, "Oh my God, we got to team up with China." World leaders hope to deepen cooperation with China. There's pros and cons to that. I don't think there will ever be. The yuan would fail when the U.S. dollar fails. All currencies would fail when the U.S. dollar fails. It's the first, last, and only world's global unbacked fiat monetary unit. And when that game ends, everybody's going to say, "Oh my God, what have we done? What have we done? And who did it?" So there'll be no rejiggering the system. We're going to start fresh. Gold and silver, obviously, and then cryptos came along, and some of them are great. There's a lot of scams out there. Don't get me wrong. Don't lose your money, like the XRP people really will. But you gotta be smart about it, and then place your bets. Place your bets, ladies and gentlemen. By the way, the U.S. government has completely dropped the ball. Very much like the Lahaina situation in Hawaii. There are other things going on behind the scenes. I was hearing reports that they're not letting private people use their helicopters to get people out. The only way to get people out now is to helicopter them out. And the Biden administration wasn't doing anything for a very long time. They're starting now, but it is so similar to Lahaina, and they're not letting people in to save people, and it's just so infuriating. Of course, it was steered right there to dump all the water. The most likely reason, there's many reasons, but the most likely reason was this quartz mine that provides the whole world with the high-grade quartz to make silicon wafers. And that is shut down now. There's no way to get the quartz out anymore. You're going to have to send helicopters. There was railroad tracks that are gone. It is so bad, and media is just starting now to talk about this. Hurricane Helene shutters critical quartz mines that power the world's electronics, solar panels, and AI. Talk about a freaking billboard advertisement for Theta and the new Theta mobile edge node. My God. We don't have to build all this stuff. We can just use what we have, our current infrastructure. And oh, by the way, we can't even use this stuff. Yeah, Theta's going into the thousands of dollars. T-Fuel will get down below 10 to 1. So right now, I think T-Fuel is at 21, 22 to 1 is a bigger buy. I think at some point we won't know what to value T-Fuel at because everybody will understand it, recognize it, and be utilizing it. One, to help the entire system. You share your broadband, you share your computational power, you share your hard drive space. That's what Theta is. It's a software download. And when Samsung and Sony download it on every single device, and all you got to do is click a mouse and say, yeah, I want to earn T-Fuel by sharing my excess capacity. It solves so many problems. The energy problem. You don't have to build these massive factories, at least to some point. So it's decentralization at its finest. So that's what I got for you right now. So much. And by the way, Helene just pummeled America's chicken farming capital. We know that the deep state and bad guys are burning down all the chicken farms and all the processing food stuff. We are at war, my friends. We are at war. So get your assets in your own possession. Make sure you're fully armed, just in case. And join the Road to Ruta. Go to roadtoruta.com. Click subscribe today. We're currently giving away 10 Theta, 100 T-Fuels, and 1,000 T-Trop, all loaded on a paper wallet mailed to your front door with every private road subscription. These numbers will change as Theta starts to skyrocket any moment. I'm shocked that it's come this far, that Theta has not even been seen by most crypto people. Don't even know what Theta is, which is a good thing to a point. If you're a buyer, it's a great thing. At some point, everybody will. It's still not on Coinbase or Kraken or Gemini, which is crazy. It's like the most important crypto, but because it's so important, they're keeping it hidden. Imagine if all the Theta partners, say, hey, all our customers, Google, Amazon, Microsoft, all the big decentralized cloud people, they're all partners with Theta. And why aren't they saying, hey, everybody get a mobile edge node, we can solve this problem? They will, but they haven't yet. All the big players who are partners with Theta could hold a press conference and say, oh, by the way, Samsung is about to download a really important update for the planet. And then Apple comes on and says, we're going to approve the Theta mobile edge node. They're the ones who said, no, we don't approve it. They're going to approve, at some point, they'll approve the mobile edge node for iPhones. And then voila, you've got, I don't know, that would be, let's see, 3, 5, 6 or 7 billion devices that could be networked with a software download. That's how big this is. It's important. Anyway, go to roadtoruta.com. I'm talking to Jenny Moonstone in a bit. We're going to get down deep and dirty about what's going on in the transition and the battles for our freedom. This is Bix Weir. I'll talk to you.